Capacity to understand the actual reality of power around them just as you and everyone else alive currently are. What you're about to hear are opinions, suppositions, like gospel or scientific truths, not infallible certainties. Brace yourself for incoming opinions that could confirm or deny your preferential view of the reality of power. Brace yourself for fallible material, fallible opinions, and values reflected, but nonetheless variably firmly held. We do not apologize to anyone we offend. We do not apologize for daring to express our views and impressions of what we believe is and what we hope to see. We will keep talking so long as we are able.
And now, Freeqo attempts to talk about the news without freaking out.
That's the game plan, folks. That's the game plan. And you go to where I'm writing from, my digital home, Freeqo.com. Not freaking out about the news for you, the people. Here we go. You, the people. There you go. You gotta get that. It's gotta be big and yes. You, the people. Woof, 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 pit. Man, you know, before tomorrow's show, I'm going to make sure I get his name right. Wolf Pit, something like that. He does food reviews. He's the man that the show is inspired by. So he's the father of Freeqo Talks the News. He doesn't know it, but he is. This is like if Wolf Pit was me and did the news. This is his show. Pretty much. I'm a ripoff. Everybody should know that. Even while I only have 0 viewers, y'all should still know I'm already a sellout. I got nothing, and I'm already selling out, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, in this episode of Freeqo Talks the News for Wednesday, April 1st, 2020, we're going to be talking about connecting the dots in quantum race, the $500 ventilator that could save Coronaville lives, rescue robots revive low stocks in grocery stores, blood test tells the truth about cancer before symptoms do, we are all plastic now, a Coronaville song of sports fanning, which will be our news poem for the day. In World War I, British biplanes had wireless phones in the cockpit. And finally, fear not the soul machine, fear its patents and IPs. This is the dialectical for the day. That's what we're going to be doing here today, folks, as we get set and ready for, well, why don't we just why don't we just dive right into it, you know? So we got the talk headlines here. Connecting the dots in quantum race from phys.org. New paradigms for auto-tuning quantum bits could overcome major engineering hurdle. And here's an excerpt. The team's paper in the journal Physics Review Applied outlines a way... Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. The term's paper in the journal Physical Review Applied. That's the name of the journal, folks. That's the name of the journal. I'm going to highlight it here so everybody's not confused. You guys probably weren't, but for people like me, this helps. The team's paper in the journal Physical Review Applied outlines a way to teach an AI to make an interconnected set of adjustments to tiny quantum dots, which are among the many promising devices for creating the quantum bits, or qubits, that would form the switches in a quantum computer's processor. Precisely tweaking the dots is crucial for transforming them into properly functioning qubits. And until now, the job had to be done painstakingly by human operators, requiring... Oh my gosh, they're replacing us, man. I'm just kidding, man. Really. Requiring hours of work to create even a small handful of qubits for a singular calculation. Jobs is what I'm hearing. I'm just playing. A practical quantum computer with many interacting qubits would require far more dots and adjustments than a human could manage. So the team's accomplishment might bring quantum dot-based processing closer from the realm of theory to engineered reality. Engineered reality. You know, there's a phrase. I'm down with this phrase. Engineered reality. Because everything is actually engineered reality. So it's kind of redundant. But, I mean, whatever. Everything's also a theory. Okay, I'm just playing. I'm just messing. This is a good story. This is a story of hope. This is what's going on right now, folks. This stuff is still happening. Breakthroughs are still being done. We're on the precipice of some amazing stuff, dudes. And, well, when we get to the end of this whole show, on the other side of our break, the last story of the day, we're going to talk about the underlying the real battle between we the poors and those that are in vassalage to or are actually what I use the phrase citadelians. These are basically human beings that have the capacity to command the lethality around them with a high degree of certainty. Essentially, that's what it comes down to. And there's a very select few who command that at ecumenical scales. And I mean, there's a little bit more that can achieve that at some national type scale, but there's very few positions available for this whole citadelian position. Anyway, this stuff is going to unfold as these stories unfold. All these theories, the Freeqo theory of the universe is going to unfold as these shows unfold. So don't worry, folks. I know right now it might be like, what the heck is this? Eventually, you're going to say that still, but you'll be entertained in the process. That's what I'm guaranteeing. Well, subjectively. I guess I'm not guaranteeing it then. Just keep listening, or, homeless puppies suddenly vote Republican there. Or if you're on the other side of the camp, homeless puppies suddenly turn to the Antifa for guidance. Whichever works for you to scare you into keep listening. I don't care. I mean, it's the end of the world. The $500 ventilator that could save Coronaville lives from Discover magazine. How to build a mechanical ventilator for a few €100. Excerpt. Enter Cristiano Galbiati at Princeton University and a team of colleagues that spans the Americas and Europe who have published the design of a mechanical ventilator that they have prototyped and built in just a few days and at minimal cost. Blah, blah, blah. No, I don't mean blah, blah, blah like screw this story. I mean blah, blah, blah like this is the story that, this is just one story, but there are multiple stories of these things happening with the ventilators where you have folks that are finding DIY solutions and they're sharing it with the universe and everybody. You know, everybody's got that esprit de corps, you know, IPs. Nobody's talking about IPs right now. But trust you me, the people that are like building tests and developing all the stuffs and everything, they're all like, oh man, we're getting ourselves there's an IP war that's going on right before our eyes in the middle of Coronaville. But then there's little islands like this, these DIYs, these open sources, and there's DIY open sources plans for 3D printers. And I've had this idea a long time ago. This idea of having neighborhoods that all had these what we now call them micro factories. They're little factories, but they're primarily, not exclusively, but they're primarily 3D printing. So micro factories are able to, they can rotate out the product like of a wide variety without having significant toolage issues. So they're now at the level where now 3D printers are more than capable of printing manufactured quality products, not just little models. They can use things that you can put on planes now. It's that kind of stuff. So if you can put things on planes with 3D printing, then you got something there, folks. You got something there. And that's where we're at. And then you see right down here, here's another thing that Coronaville is doing and showing us, listen, folks, listen. The robots can be your friends. It's not the device, it's not the tool, it's the user and the designer. Those are the problems. This is the same problem we've always had. The problem of humans in competition for their own personal journeys of I am awesome, so to speak. I mean, that's essentially what it boils down to, but more on that as it goes along, too. Rescue robots revive low stocks in grocery stores. From Forbes, how robots are helping grocery stores during the coronavirus outbreak. And here's an excerpt. Grocery stores are considered essential businesses during the Coronaville outbreak, and employees have been working overtime to keep shelves stocked. As retailers struggle to hire more workers to meet rising demand, the use of robots may grow. Brad Bogalea, co-founder and CEO of Simbi Robotics, shared more in an interview. Simbi Robotics' autonomous shelf-scanning robot, Tally, has been used in Schnucks markets and Giant Eagle stores. And I have a Giant near me. I don't know if that's the same thing. I think that is. The no-maintenance robot has more than 40 sensors that allow it to avoid obstacles as it navigates the floors to scan shelves. Tally can check 15,000 to 30,000 products per hour as it audits inventory through the help of cameras, computer vision, and machine learning. It is able to identify prices, product placement, availability, and special promotions. And what it's not also telling you is what Tally has also behind it most likely. I didn't see this in the article, but I'm willing to bet that the trend is actually not to have one AI, but rather a family of AIs that operate within this blockchain matrix that they're able to exchange value with one another, and the learning between them is much more rapid than if it was just one AI processing itself, so to speak. So that's what the Singularity.net folks are all about. They're the ones behind the Sophie robot girl. Anyway, so but these things, again, in and of themselves, if they're designed with consensuality in mind, I'll say, then they are useful tools that can do, like right now, to have robots do the work of cleaning things and sanitizing things. If we could have robots serve us right now, like holy moly, like I'd be happy with that. And I have a lot of ideas about how that could actually work and how humans could actually get in the business of basically supplying their own personal robots to do things. And that's how they make their money. They literally take care of robots that go out and do stuff. And the more robots you can actually personally maintain, the better. And that's what it comes down to. Like you're personally responsible for making sure these robots behave themselves and do stuff. You know, that it'll be like that. Anyway, that's I think a great story. I love this, and I'm happy to see there's a lot of things that are getting hastened, getting thrown into the market right now. You know, they say, you know, war is is, I mean, they'll say it's necessary. I would argue necessity is an assumption of an absolute value, and I don't believe in absolute values per se. So I wouldn't go down that road. But war is has had its beneficial, subjectively speaking, beneficial side effects, which is the rapid development of technology, and that's what's happening here with Coronavilles. And now all of a sudden, all this stuff that would have had to have waited for all these processes and all this stuff is just getting thrust into the thing. Okay, just get it out there. Let's do. And there's probably going to be some disasters and probably some great stories as well. So, yeah, these are exciting, dangerous times. And on the other side, I'm just going to tell you that my prediction is that the technological advantage is so heavily focused, to me, towards the individual and small associations, small scale operations in general, that you're witnessing the last gasp, and it's going to be brutal. It's already brutal. The last gasp of this old machine, this centralized, massive, scaled machine that is no longer useful in today's enviro-technological environment. Yes, like that. Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll just say that. I know environment and eco might be, but I mean environment in the overall. But okay, yeah, whatever. All right, let's get to our talk feature here, because we've got to do that, right? Got to do that, right? Let's switch. You know what? I just realized something here. Hold on. Not a problem. Not a problem, Janice. Janice, it's not a problem, Janice. It's not a problem. All right. All right, let's we're going to switch gears up here a little bit, and we're going to go to our talk feature. Blood test tells the truth about cancer before symptoms do. A new blood test promises to be able to accurately find 50 types of cancer in individuals. Not only can it find the cancers, it can find where they're at, and it can find these cancers way before symptoms ever can, giving doctors a better chance to stop cancers before they ever get to the dead stage, or the dead stage 4 that no one wants to, or I meant to say the dread. That's a typo, folks. I wrote this, so that's a typo. I wrote this part. The dread stage 4 that no one wants to hear. Someday soon, you may go to your local doctor for your yearly, bi-yearly, whatever yearly your age group might put you in, to get your cancer checked. From SciTech Daily. Blood test accurately detects over 50 types of cancer and where it originated, often before any symptoms. Excerpt. Researchers have developed the first blood test that can accurately detect more than 50 types of cancer and identify in which tissue the cancer originated, often before there are any clinical signs or symptoms of the disease. In a paper published in the leading cancer journal, Annals of Oncology, today, March 31st, 2020. I knew I was going to ruin that. I knew I was going to ruin it. I tried. The researchers show that the test, which could eventually be used in national cancer screening programs, has a 0.7% false positive rate for cancer detection, meaning that less than 1% of people would be wrongly identified as having cancer. And for those less than 1%, you're going to, well, probably you'll find out soon enough that you don't, and then you'll be fine. As a comparison, about 10% of women are wrongly identified as having cancer in national breast cancer screening programs. Oh my gosh, 10%! Although this rate can be higher or lower depending on the number and frequency of screenings and the type of mammogram performed. I wonder how many mammogramologists there are out there that when they were like 12 are like, yo, mammogramologist. Sounds like a good job. I'm in. Or whatever tone of voice you choose to inject into that scenario. Fascinating. The memo, well, I mean, hey, I've focused on some stranger things in my life than mammochronologists. So who am I? I'm not judging. I'm just, it's... Shut up. This is a great story, and you're ruining it with your stupid 90s humor. Boomer. Blood test tells the truth about that. This is a fascinating story. I mean, this is a huge. This could be. I mean, if this thing pans out, don't get me wrong. There's a tendency to hype things. Just say. But I mean, if this thing pans out, then this would be a game changer. This would change the whole environment as far as cancer is concerned. Cancer wake up the next day once it realizes that all this is about to happen. Like, yo, man. Gonna suck for us soon. They're starting to find us, and then never mind that. What is that organ called? That mystery organ. Huh. There's a. It's like a membrane throughout your whole body. It connects to all your tissues, and they're discovering like this really is an organ in and of itself, and it needs a fascia. Fascia, I believe it's called. It's an organ in and of itself, and it needs to be studied. And I think, like they even said, like now that they're starting to understand it has these paths and these connections, and this is why they couldn't find cancers. Like the cancers are hiding in this organ. Now that they know that, like they can go find the cancer there now. Like they didn't even understand the significance of this organ called the fascia. So that's where we're at. I mean, like I said, folks, we're on the cusp of, we really are. It's like somebody's sitting at a table and they're, I got to watch that hands to the face, don't you? Dang it. You got an itch on your nose, though. So anyway, it's like you're sitting at a table and there's this like, on one side, there's like this person's got all this golden niceness and sweetness and or whatever niceness, sweetness is for you, that's a pile of that. And on this other side is just like this pile of death and poop. And your only choices. It's like that's where we're at. It was like this could be incredibly wonderful, or it could be these are the last gasps of a society that allowed a significant portion of its citizens to have a measure of personal expression that would be envied by generations to come. Who knows? Or the generations to come will look back and say, wow, man, they lived under such oppressive times. So much more able to live who we are now than they even understood they were able to. That's my suspicion. That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I've been predicting this for a long time, not Coronaville, just this shift, the death of the civilization. I'm not the only one. I'm not Amazing Kreskin here, but it's here. It's here, kids. And I don't know. I'm kind of. I mean, I don't want it to be like this. I don't want it to be through death and destruction. But I'm appreciative of anything I can, even in the face of horror. And so I'm appreciative of some of the side effects of Coronaville that I'm seeing. All right, let's get to our talk focus here. And then we'll get to the halfway part of the show. We'll take Freeqo takes a break, get some concentrations of water flowing throughout the body in accordance with the doctor's orders, doctor in his head, and then he resumes on the other side with a news poem. So let's get these two stories here. Stroke mortality falls by nearly a quarter. Look at that, folks. Look at all the good news I'm bringing you. I am bringing you the good. I'm dropping the goods. Y'all should appreciate it. I love you. That's why I do this. I do this purely for you now. It's totally for me. It's my therapy. It's how I'm getting through Coronaville. So welcome to my ride. Thanks to a number of factors, including preventative care, emergency treatment, and follow-up treatment, the percentage of people who die from stroke has fallen by 24% in the span of 15 years, from Eureka Alert. Risk of death from stroke falls by 24%. Excerpt. Thousands more patients each year are surviving strokes, as the risk of deaths and disability after a stroke fell significantly between 2000 and 2015, according to analysis by Guy's and St. Thomas's researchers. The study, published in PLOS magazine, or PLOS, and I prefer to say PLOS, and now that I know PLOS exists, I'm sure I won't remember it, but dear Lord, please help me. Please remember that PLOS magazine exists so I can drop that reference in a future conversation. Oh, you mean like I was sticking out a PLOS magazine. I was reading, oh no, I'm sorry, PLOS medicine. I was reading PLOS medicine. PLOS. PLOS is a great word. I mean, that has to be a real word. You got to make that into something. I love it. The study, published in PLOS Medicine, looked at data from South London patients who had an oh man, I can't say that word right now. This is too early in the morning. Actually, I get up at 4 in the morning, and it's what, noon or 1? So, not good. As of the recording of this show, in Eastern Standard Time, of course. Of course, who had an ischemic stroke, one caused by a blood clot between 2000 and 2015. The team attributes the reduced risk to improvements in care and medication. After adjustments for population changes, the research showed that the risk of death from stroke fell by 24% over the 15-year period, with the one-year death rate dropping from 32.6% in 2000 to 20.15% in 2015. The one-year death rate is the incidence of death within 1 year of the stroke. The risk of disability after a stroke fell by 23% from 34.7% in 2000 to 26.7% in 2015. That is pretty awesome. Come on, everyone. Come on, give it up. Baby, give it up. Give it up. Baby, give it up. That's a happy, you know. Or should I do that lobster? What is it? The lobster? No, I don't know. Oh, no, I know what I should do. Do you guys remember that Six Flags commercial? The bald old guy. That's the music. That's what that deserves. There you go, folks. What do you think of that? How about this? Got more. Ready? The prognosis is good or not. The AI Coronaville doctor will tell you. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can read this. I can read it. It's, you know, hope and awesome, or oh my gosh, you know, again, it's like the gold and the poop, golden poop, golden poop, golden poop. That's our choice. An AI-infused tool promises to offer doctors early warnings for patients at risk of suffering serious, life-threatening symptoms from the dread Coronaville rolling across the lands from east to west, north to south. I'm proud of that sentence. Wrote that. I love it. Music. You don't often brag about yourself, but Freeqo does. The tool should be able to give doctors the ability to preemptively prepare potentially critical patients before they ever get to the breaking point. From Futurity. Tool predicts who will get seriously sick from COVID-19. Come on! First of all, it's Coronaville. It's Coronaville. We live in Coronaville. It's Coronaville. So the prognosis is good or not, the AI Coronaville doctor will tell you. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Futurity, if you happen to see this video and you see this headline that you wrote and you see my headline, you should look at my headline and you should, yo, should have done that. Why would we do this boring thing? This is so stupid. 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 Why are you doing this? I'm just kidding. You guys are great. I love you, actually. I really do love Futurity. I'm a big fan. Excerpt. An artificial intelligence tool can accurately predict which patients newly infected within the Coronaville virus go on to develop severe respiratory disease, a new study shows. While work remains to further validate our model, it holds promise as another tool to predict the patients most vulnerable to the virus, but only in support of physicians' hard-won clinical experience in treating viral infections, says corresponding author Megan Coffey, a clinical assistant professor in the Division of Infectious Disease and Immunology within the Medicine Department at New York University's Grossman School of Medicine. Our goal was to design and deploy a decision-supporting tool using AI capabilities, mostly predictive analysis, to flag future clinical Coronaville severity. Adds co-author Anas Bara, a clinical assistant professor in computer science at the Current Institute. At the Current. And I had a little picture here. You see, that's the AI doctor. It's not going to be like that. You know, I told you, folks. I'm going to repeat this often. My vision. I'm calling it. You're gonna have a little thing on your wrist. This is a doctor. It's everything. It's your AI buddy. AI buddy. Now the AI buddy is also going to be working in like cooperation with other AI buddies that you would allow your AI buddy to operate with a cooperation within certain parameters. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a really weird world. Wherever you go, your AIs go with you. You might even have more than one AI. Some people might have multiple AIs. I myself would probably have an army of AIs like following me around and armed. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. I'm a decent person. All right. So there we go. That was the first half of the show. And so what we do then is we're going to go to a little break. A little breakity breaks. I'm going to find another part. Basically, all of our stuff is basically Metropolis during the breaks is what you're watching, because this is the perfect movie. It's the best movie that was ever made, and it clearly deserves to be thought of and seen and pondered now more than ever. Now more than ever. So on the other side, though, what we're going to get to is we're going to get to our news poem. And our news poem title is We Are All Plastic Now, a Coronaville Song of Sport Fanning. That's what we're going to get to on the other side. And then don't forget, at the very end of the show, our last story is a dialectical, which is called Fear Not the Soul Machine, Fear Its Patents and IPs. And with that, I'm going to see you on the other side of the break.
Love overwhelms me. Love overwhelms me. Love overwhelmed 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 me.
Warning, the material you're about to be exposed to is foreign. The minds of individuals who are limited in their capacity to understand the actual reality of power around them, just as you and everyone else alive currently are. What you're about to hear are opinions, suppositions, like gospel or scientific truths, not infallible certainties. Brace yourself for incoming opinions that could confirm or deny your preferential view of the reality of power. Brace yourself for fallible material, fallible opinions, and values reflected, but nonetheless variably firmly held. We do not apologize to anyone we offend. We do not apologize for daring to express our views and impressions of what we believe is and what we hope to see. We will keep talking so long as we are able.
And now, Freeqo attempts to talk about the news without freaking out.
That's the plan, folks, and I'm pretty, I'm thinking I could do it this time. There you go, I think I can do it this time. I think that I have done a good job so far in not freaking out, and actually it's been a good, easy job because I've actually today been lucky in my foraging for stories, in finding stuff that so far at least hasn't really fundamentally challenged my freakolinjations within. That's a freakolinjation. Yeah, freakolinjations. That's how you pronounce it. Freakolinjations within. It didn't even ruffle those. So, my jimmies are like, yo, man, we're cool. Everything's fine. I'm like, well, really? Because usually the jimmies are first. Jimmies are just the start of the process, though, because I can control the jimmies. Goes way beyond jimmies. Yeah, when we get to the Freeqo, whatever I said earlier that I can't remember now, that thing. Yeah, that's when it's bad. But it's not anywhere near that. So not even in Jimmy land. So good on us. Let's get to the next story, though. Well, I had it lined up in the wrong place. There we go. That's what we want. There we go. Now, by the way, this image, these are actually, this is people that sell cutouts. These are plastic cutouts of people that you can prop up. And this is a group of young men that are offered as one of the cutouts. There they are, as you can see. And that's germane to the story because these guys could be fans standing or sitting in a soccer stadium in Germany. They could be those guys. We are all plastic now. A Coronaville song of sport fanning, a news poem. News first, poems follows. From Fox Sports. Plastic cutouts to replace live fans for German club. Excerpt. A German club supporters are planning to replace real-life fans with plastic ones when the Bundesliga resumes, and raise some money for a child's medical treatment in the process. Oh, let's just throw that in. That'll make us feel like, okay, we all understand this is like stupid, right? Yeah, but we need to do this, okay? Let's put a charity to it. Let's put a charity to it. All right, it's cool then. All right, we're going to set these things up, though, in the stadium, right? Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to set up plastic cutouts throughout the stadium so that when the German clubs are playing to an empty stadium, they'll be playing with plastic cutouts of real people, plastic cutouts of real people. The real people will be there. And they'll see themselves in the stands, too, like in the show, in the broadcast. Well, it's all a show. Everything's a show. Borussia Mönchengladbach. Mönchengladbach! My gosh, can I change my name now? My name is now, I'll never remember that, Freeqo Mönchengladbach. Mönchengladbach. That is a name. That is listen, you have to literally, male, female, or anybody else of any type of whatever, you still have to have a significant amount of testosterone to be able to guttural the necessaries that you have to perform to say that name. Mönchengladbach. You know, when I did this story, I missed the significance of that last name. I have no idea what it means. I'm sure it means something. Like I eat dirt or something. I have no idea. I don't know. But I mean, it is a beautiful thing. It is definitely a beautiful thing. And I missed it. And that probably would have made it into the news poem. But I feel bad about that. But you know, that is what it is. I don't feel bad, like guilty bad. Just, oh well. So anyway, this guy, Mönchengladbach, Borussia Mönchengladbach. Oh my gosh, wait a second. Holy crap, that's the name of a town? That's the name of a town. I don't know what's what with their league. So is Borussia the name of the town or the mascot, or is the whole thing just I don't know. Either way, now I must find out. Okay, everybody. I am going to detour a little bit from the plants because we all must share in this beauty together. And let's see if we can do that. All right. Mönchengladbach is a city in North Rhine-Westphalia. I still want that as my last name. Mönchengladbach. That is so cool. I love it. I love that name. That name is beautiful. That the name is everything. I'm sorry, folks. You guys understand that. The time that I took on this was very significantly warranted. So they've come up with a novel way to support their team, even though they probably won't be allowed to attend games for a while longer because of the coronavirus outbreak. I bet you I know what happened. When I originally did this story, you know, this word was like I wasn't worried about saying it or anything. I was like, oh, okay, whatever that is, I don't need to know it. Yeah. So that's what happened, and I missed the beauty of it. Ooh, one Gladbach supporters group is giving members the chance to create life-sized figures that will be replaced in the stadium in the places when and if the wait a second. Wait, Gladbach. Okay, come on. Is that separate? Is there a rivalry? Is there a rivalry? Okay, never mind. It's the same. Okay, Gladbach. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what's up with what. I'm going to stop you, though. Stop that movie going. All right. That would be great, though, if there was Mönchengladbach and Gladbach in a fight to the death. No, not, metaphorical in Minecraft, like on the soccer pitch, you know. Okay, so there you go. Here's my news poem. All of that is just to say, you know what? I got to change this. I got to work on that tomorrow. That's something I missed. I forgot about that. All right. Here's my news poem. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to fix this for you folks. You do not need to see this, especially when we're going to actually do this. We are going to do this right, children's. We're not going to let this happen. We're not going to let this go on like this. We are going to find the image for the story. And there we go. We're going to get this done, folks. We live during the show recorded for all of prosperity. Prosperity? No. Posterity punk. All right. You're a punk. Ready? There we go. There we go. There we go. There, we're fixed. Okay. Okay, there you go. I got the right picture in now. I got to remember to do it for the show. I'm learning all the mechanics of stuff, and I've come a long way, but I'm still not quite there. So here's the news poem. There you go. This is how it should be. Yeah, that would bother me to do that story. And I didn't notice it up here because I was focused on the text, I guess. I don't know. But now, the news poem is where it matters. This is where I really need the right image, folks. You see how? See what I mean? See what I mean, everyone? Y'all know what I'm saying. News poem. The title of this news poem is We Are All Plastic Now, a Coronaville Song of Sport Fanning. Plastic, get beneath the force, the desperate hold on to the sameness, facsimilate. An army of vicarious fills the stands at a price for those in need. Athletes raise their hands in glory, slunk their chest in defeat to a crowd of mutes in captured plastilife. Up and down the pitch, the roar of the grunts alone, the clash of the tested bodies alone, muffled by the smiling plastics that fill the stands, placed by virus-cleared hands. And the near-formed sameness that is aped in cut-out comparissoning, with each one festooned in club attire, forever partisans in the sporting wars, same as before. And so it goes. Life goes on, facsimilating when it cannot own, unchanged in that sense, by the terrible machines that now ravage the air from the body, replacing flesh with plastic and digitality, save for the flesh life kicking balls into nets for the sake of the same that is already gone, before the facsimiles that have gathered to keep the same going beneath the force. Oh wait, that's right, I said I was going to do this. That way everybody knows the end. And there, that's the appropriate way to end that, folks. Now we'll get on to the news briefs, or the talk briefs. Let's get on to the talk briefs here. You know what? Uh-oh. Got new music coming in. That's right, folks. We got new music. Hold on. Hold on. Let me turn off this mic for a second because you guys don't need to hear me sip. And you can enjoy this fine music as we set up the talk briefs. It's actually one of the reasons why I have background music in the first place. Is because if something like that happens, it's not a toad, it's not the dread silence. You don't want silence, folks. Silence murders the heart. Well, in certain contexts, sometimes silence is the balm for the heart. So, nothing is what it seems, and everything is. Oh, that's great. That's great. All right. I hope I wiggled my way out of that one. And here are the briefs. People are going out right now trying to fish and hunt and deer because there's nothing to eat. In eastern Kentucky, the coronavirus is pushing once cash-strapped family to the edge. This is from Business Insider. An excerpt. As the net has fallen away, Moss said her neighbors have taken matters quite literally into their own hands. People are going out right now trying to fish and hunt deers because there's nothing to eat, she said. They're afraid. Knox County Judge Executive Mike Mitchell questioned her assessment. I questioned her. I don't understand. I don't understand. I live in her community. I live in her community. Where do you live, sir? I live right over here. Oh, that's a really nice house. Yeah, how are you doing for oh, I got provisions. I'm good. I got stuff, man. I got stuff on stuff. Man, I've been doing this for a long time, man. I've been nuts actually, but yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm like, and whatever I need, man, I can just get. Yes, I don't understand. I don't understand what she's saying. I don't know. It sounds like she's trying to demean me. She's trying to make it seem like the government isn't doing good things for us, and like we're not like taking care of people, because that's BS, man. We're all in this together, and we're all doing great. In an interview, he said the problems plaguing the region are like those of other communities across the country. He said he was not aware of the lines at Walmart or people in the community discussing going hunting or fishing for food, or the food banks drying up. Hey, Sam? Yeah, no. Nope, I still hold the phone to my ear like an idiot. Yep, boomer. Boomer. I don't even know what that means. Why do you keep saying that, Sam? It's I don't get it. I never get the things that you say. Great. Listen, down the lane there, how are things going? Do you know if there's any lines at Walmart? Oh, Frank, there's no Mike. Oh, Mike. There's no lines at Walmart. What are you talking about? I was just there the other day, and I looked from the outside, and it looked perfectly fine to me. I kept going, of course, you know. I don't need to stop at Walmart. I mean, those... Ew. Are you suggesting that you think that I shop at Walmart, Mike? No, I'm not. I'm just checking. I just want my pulse. I want to make sure I'm a pulse in the community. That's all. I just want to know. Like, yeah, I got to go talk to some people. They're asking me some questions about people, like, waiting in line at Walmart and hunting deer for food or some stupid crap. Hold on. Let me get back to him. I'm confused about the extremities of what you're asking, Mitchell said. Everyone is looking for a story right now. 2 days after this conversation, Mitchell declared a countywide emergency. Owned by a horrible circumstance, though. That's the thing, dear. That's the thing with you. Yeah. Although I'm not saying I'm in favor of the lockdown. I'm just saying, you know, Executive Mike. Oh, Knox County Judge. I'd love to find out where Mike lives. Mike Mitchell. Mitch. Oh my gosh, his name is Mike Mitchell. Holy moly, that's great. That's great. It's a Mike Mitch Mike. That's just perfect. I don't know why. I would call him Mike Mitch or Mitch Mike. I would call him Mitch Mike. He is now Mitch Mike. I mean, if he ever like actually started recurring in any way, shape, or form, I found him anymore. He could become a character. He'd become a lovely character, Mitch Mike. I'm Mitch Mike. I'm county judge. You know what? I'm just going to say county executive. I'm just going to change county executive Mitch Mike. Yeah. All right. How about this story? This story is pretty awesome. In World War I, British biplanes had wireless phones in the cockpit, and this is from IEEE. Spectrum, IEEE. I said that 3 times. If I say it 4 times, then there's probably a hate group that I just advocated for something horrible that I don't know about. So make sure it's 3 E's. Never know these days. Excerpt. One early attempt involved wireless telegraphy, sending telegraph signals by radio. Its main drawback was size. The battery pack and transmitter weighed up to 3,045 kilograms and took up an entire seat on a plane, sometimes overflowing into the pilot's area. The wire antenna trailed behind the plane and had to be reeled in before landing. There was no room for a dedicated radio operator, and so the pilot would have to do everything: observe the enemy, consult the map, and tap out coordinates in Morse code. Wow. Dang. Sounds like a coder. Sounds like what coders go through, except without the getting shot at part. That's a key part, though. That's a key part. That is a key part. All while flying the plane. Oh, yeah, that's another part. They don't have to worry. That part's another element altogether. All while flying the plane under enemy fire. I already mentioned the enemy fire, folks. You don't need to mention it. I can't believe you didn't know that I already said that, even though you wrote this article way before I said it. Whatever. I'm not freaking out. Despite the complicated setup, some pioneers managed to make it to work. In 1911, First Lieutenant Benjamin D. Foulard, pilot of the U.S. Army's Sol airplane, flew along the Mexican border and reported to Signal Corps stations on the ground by Morse code. 3 years later, under the auspices of the British Royal Flying Corps, Lieutenant Donald Lewis and Baron James tried out air-to-air radio telegraphy by flying 16 kilometers apart, communicating by Morse code as they flew. And then they both plummeted to their deaths. And then everybody said, "This is cursed by the devil. We should never speak of this again." No, actually, they lived happily ever after, both of them. Like, both of them, I think they're still alive. They're still hanging on, and they're in great shape. They're like the oldest men in the world. Pretty awesome. I made all that up, but dude, make it so. Make it so, number one. Build those little Little sugar bombs in your head right now. You need them. You need them. It's good for your immune system. See, I love you. That's why I do that. The Fed's secret superpowers to support cities through Coronaville and beyond from Next City. So this is the excerpt. The Federal Reserve, the nation's central banking system, could step up to start buying municipal bonds, which would help keep the market functioning. Section 14 of the Federal Reserve Act gives it the power to buy short-term municipal bonds. On top of that, tucked 500 pages into the 800-page $2 trillion relief package Congress passed last week, there's a provision giving the Fed temporary powers to buy any kind of municipal bonds during the Coronaville crisis. Just during Coronaville would suffice. The Fed has never exercised its power to buy municipal bonds, but these desperate times may be the catalyst. Desperate times. May be the catalyst to violate and trample and destroy. But you have whole elements of people that are fine with trampling and destroying. Maybe you're one of them. I don't know. But that's really what we're talking about. I'm not sure the trade-off is really going to be what you think it will be. Buying state and local debt for years and years, that just wasn't on the menu. It wasn't even something to talk about. And now suddenly they're talking about it. Of course they are, because holy moly, makes their state. Hey everybody, let's just totally shut everything down and screw the whole, thoughts about is there a way that we can quickly transition back to at least significantly more people being able to work, but being able to work in safe conditions? I think there's probably ways. But nobody's talking about that. But certainly I think you should. But, the whole idea, though, that, you can actually just... They're making all kinds of orders that that they can't even enforce. They can't enforce these. That's the thing that these little mayors don't understand. The higher-ups understand it more than the little mayors do. The little they're like basically tin pot dictators, some of these people. I mean, you have no idea in some of these counties how much, 1, 2, or 3 families controls a whole county. It happens way more often than you realize in America. And so these are the types of counties where you got these people that are just like, everyone is a nail and they're the hammer. I mean, they hammer everything. That's how they operate. And so for this, this is their natural reaction. They have no idea. They have no measure of the blood and bone consequence of the thoughts that they put out there, and the execution of the enforcement, and how badly that would go. Not just for them, for everyone involved, how badly that would go. And these folks are just rip it out and don't even care. They just want to assure that at the end of the day that people aren't beaten, because they know ultimately if government fails and people die, people are going to go to government offices. That's what they fear the most. So they're just trying to protect their own interests in a lot of cases. There's a lot of disappointing things going on in America, but a lot of great things too. So it's not all these people. There's also a lot of other folks that have a lot of other reasons for being a lot more mindful of the circumstances and balancing that with an understanding of not wrecking the whole machine. So there are those folks as well. So, and there's plenty of opportunities even now with technology for us to do things that I hope to talk about more as the show goes on. So I think this is as far as I'm going to get with these briefs. So generally for the briefs, I have 6 briefs, and I probably will hardly ever get to all 6 of them, but they're there on Freeqo.com. You can find them. And those briefs, I get to as many as I can before I'm like, okay, it's time for the last story. And that's what I feel like we're at right now. We're at the time for the last story. So let me take a brief little water break and get prepared for the last story. This is the Dialectical. Fear not the soul machine. Fear its patents and IPs. We have now entered a time when digital people get real people representation. These are not digital people that represent real people. They are digital people that are in and of themselves their own thing. Digital people are being created by companies that are then being sold to other companies for use in advertising, even movies. And this has been developing for a while now, but now a move by the talent agent CAA has upped the ante on that whole reality, making it harder and harder to ignore. We are being replaced, and not just on the assembly line, but in ads and movies as well. And I, for one, welcome our digital people overlords, even though the real overlords are the ones that own the designers and designs that created these digital folk in the first place. Soul Machines is the company that earned the first agent signing for digital people, with their stable of DigiPeeps now being offered to CAA in numerous applications. The whole nature of what CAA will use Soul Machines' army of DigiPeeps for is being kept under wraps, probably because not everyone will be happy with all the ways in which DigiPeeps can replace peeps, so to speak. It will probably, maybe, but maybe not, and if so, probably not for much longer, be upsetting to folks if they find out that ubiquitous image of Girl 43, who happens to model your favorite car, is a DigiPeep with no soul, not even a virtual one, which is kind of ironical and whatnot, given the name of this company with the army of DigiPeeps, Soul Machines. It will be one thing for Ella, electronic lifelike assistant, to be used to field questions at a lobby in a police station, which is what Soul Machines' Ella is used for. It will be quite another thing to have DigiPeeps be our not an actor but I play one on TV to hawk this product peep. This, it appears to me, is what will happen with Soul Machines and others as well, as companies now race to create the most on-demandy DigiPeeps they can, fully copyrighted, patent pending, and intellectual property to the max, at least the best max the best lawyers can create. The DigiPeeps are not nearly as much of a threat to our potential perpetuating existence as are the IPs, the patents, the copyrights that consolidate the power to create and detect these digital deceivers. There are already digital-only personalities, AI personalities, emerging from the AI digital real person mix of Poppy to the bald Sophie of Singularity Net fame, and now the virtual superstar of Oxman, who released its collective album back in September of 2019. Virtual stars are here, and they're here to stay. The signing of Soul Machines to CAA makes this more obvious than it already has been. But where does it end? AI as human augmentation is one thing. AI as sentient actor is another altogether. So far, none of these DigiPeeps or androids are anywhere near sentience or self-direction. They are all still largely the products of the designers and the coders. They are what we make them. Humans are natural expanders of territory. Wherever they can, humans expand. And my bet is this impulse to create DigiPeeps that can fill our roles and ultimately even trick us into believing they're real will lead enough folk to create DigiPeeps that do more than model and sing. They give political opinions and disseminate the news. News in quotes, because what is news and what is simulation is already being blurred with human commentators. What happens next in the virtual or mechanical mouths of the next generation of human poseurs will go far beyond product sales and art. It will touch on the very discourse that determines the structures of governance around us. And it's an exciting time to be alive if you're a dystopian sci-fi writer, or maybe it's a very challenging time given that life in Coronaville, as I write this article today on April 1st, 2020, is better or worse for those of us living this and not just witnessing it than anything most of these folks could possibly write today. But have faith, friends, for at the end of the virtual and real day, Our machines are our ideas, our thoughts, our assumptions, our end goals. And that might be a good thing. It might be bad. It depends on your view of humanity as a whole. I suppose I'm betting the virtuals will have their place, but the designers, the makers, the real humans will still face the accountability backlash should their experiments turn out to be pieces of virtual human garbage pooping on the world with their lies and manipulations pre-programmed by liars and manipulators. To the degree to which the technologies being used are open and transparent, we will possess the accountability paths we require to bring consequence to bear against those willing to use the digipeeps to create their own personal playgrounds. The rise of the AI, the digipeeps, means the challenge to end the tyranny of IP is all the more urgent, for IP creates the protected firewalls between the creator created and the audience that is being served and or manipulated. So my friends, don't fear the AIs of the world. Don't fear the digipeeps of the world. Fear the human-made and human-enforced laws that protect creators from accountability and consolidate the AI-making and AI-detecting resources in the hands of the powerful few by locking up the codes behind firewalls of IP protected by government guns and soon government drones. As usual, it's not the machine, it's the tool. It's the human that designed, the human that used the tool that's the problem, or for those of us fighting against the IP, the solution. So this is my core belief, that the core battle that should be fought today is here in IP, is assuring that at the very least, I mean, I would prefer all IP dead, but at the very least, that types of technology such as AI, the certain types of technology that are essentially deemed to be sovereignty building, if you could say, the type of technology that you wouldn't want in the hands of the few, because you don't want the hands of the few to be able to create. They create markets. They create monopolized markets by controlling IP, not by creating the best products and delivering the best services, by controlling IP. All they do is go out and buy everyone. They buy their heads. Essentially, they buy their heads, and they turn their heads into perpetual power gathering machines. Money's power. Money is power. If you define power the way I do, power is simply the ability to influence action. And money, well, I guess it isn't power in and of itself, but it's a key tool in being able to execute that power. And this is what they use. And they use that money to then partner up with their families and friends that also happen to be part of government legacies, of government families, legacies of defense corporation families. There's various types of families that have their historic hands in certain pies. And the idea is to get your hands in as many pies, not fingers, hands. They're getting whole hands in pies. Get your hand, because they got multiple hands now. Get your hands in as many pies as you can, and every pie you get, it's like they're colonizing thought right now, is what's going on. They're colonizing thought, all under the guise of IP. So this is our greatest enemy long term, as far as the battle between humans who wish to live the lives of their own choosing, and humans who wish to live, well, in control of the many, in essence. Same way we've always been doing things. Same way we've always been doing things. And on that note, I will bring this show to an end. So I want to thank everybody for joining me here. It's been an interesting show. It started off with a lot of happiness, and it kind of got a little bit. But honestly, I do want to make sure that, I at least communicate that on the main, I am overall incredibly optimistic. I will say we have ahead of us a period of time, probably of 3 to 5 years, during which there's this it's another march to the sea is what's going to happen. And when I say march to the sea, I always use this metaphor in World War One. Everybody, they soon realized that they couldn't really beat each other head on. They had to outflank the other person. So there's a series of hops, skips, and jumps as everybody tried to get to the sea before the other one did. This is the Western Sea, the western coast of Europe, I'll just say, and everybody was jumping to get to that, and it's out. You're just trying to outflank. You're trying to cut your opponent off from having to fight a one-front war. You want to be able to, if you can get them two fronts, if you can get their behind and their front, then they're done. And that's what outflanking is all about. And that's what is going to be going on. And there's going to be various camps. Unfortunately, the camps that tend towards the let's keep things in control just the way they are, there are a lot larger coalitions than the camps, and the other camps. In terms of numbers, the other camps might actually, in the overall, have more numbers, but they have so many different vehicles of power that they use to imagine that they're destroying what is the ultimate oppression in their lives, that they're a fractured group across multiple moralistic and allegedly objective, reasonable, logical differences, which, whatever. But anyway, so the problem is that on the camp of the let's hold things the way they are now is that the technologies that are emerging, they're offering such tremendous opportunities for small groups of people to have world-class intellectual and force power at their disposal. Like, that's the world that we're entering into. It's basically the age of knights in essence, because, well, even more granular than the knights, because now it's not in the age of knights. It was like a small group of people had this awesome battle platform. Now everybody can have awesome battle platforms, and not just battle platforms. They can have awesome food platforms, manufacturing platforms, energy platforms, health platforms, all kinds of platforms that we can have, especially with the assistance of AI and other learning tool type devices that can offer the most ruralist of the ruralist communities world-class medical expertise consulting, better, as good as the best of the best could ever have. Like a democratization of thought rather than a consolidation. IP is consolidation. That's why I'm against it. IP consolidates thought. That's this is one of the central motifs of this show, by the way, is going to be this. This is the underlying mission of Freeqo, is to kill. I'm not going to say I'm trying to kill all your IPs. I mean, I would like to kill all your IPs, but I'm just, kill the IPs that kill the emergence of individual and small associative expressions of living by their own standards. And screw your moralities. Seriously, all of you. Screw your moralities. I mean, I have my own moralities, but I will not be ever seeking to use force as a means of enforcing my moralities on you. I'm only standard I have is consensuality. That's not a morality. That's a pragmatic construct that allows for the exchange of useful value between individuals that yields the best overall result for the most amount of folks. And I'll talk more about that as the show goes on as well. Okay, well, I'm going to end it there. I want to thank everyone who watched the show, and don't forget to tip your Freeqo at Freeqo.com. Tip, you go there, and there's a button you can press, the PayPal button. You can send me money, and there's options there to send me money, because why wouldn't you, right? This is the only pitch I have. So that's how I end the show, too. So, good night, everybody.
It's not